back to Real Reds Talk, your favourite football fan channel. It is Monday, the start of the week, and the start that everybody doesn't like. Nobody likes a Monday, but we make it much better because of the content we provide. It's the Premier League roundup, and after the shock results, controversial decisions, late drama involved this weekend, we've got lots to discuss. So make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We've also got something very interesting to get stuck into towards the end, but that is the sticky toffee pudding when you finish your main course. We've got Sam joining me on the show today, you lucky bastards. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm all right. Nice bank holiday weekend, and I got another bank holiday next week to celebrate the King, which I'm sure we'll all be joining in with the Pledge of Allegiance that all the Premier League grounds are going to be doing. You heard about that?
No, go on.
So every home Premier League ground, they're encouraging people to listen to the national anthem for kick-off and pledge your allegiance to the King, which I'm sure we'll all be doing as football fans, won't we?
Yeah. Well, we've already discussed this, Sam. You said you've got your staff ready and your outfit and your Union J flag or whatever it is. So
yeah.
I'm sure we're all prepared for it.
I'm all about the nonce brigade, so yeah. Let's
absolutely.
Go for it.
Anyway, moving on before we get demonetised, we will start with the Premier League. There's only one place to start, and it's Crystal Palace versus West Ham, the early kickoff on the Saturday. It was actually a bit of a barn burner, to be honest. Palace beat West Ham 4-3, goals from Zaha, Eze, Schlupp, AU, and then Souček, Antonio, and Agud scored for them. West Ham a little bit of a roller coaster at the minute. It seemed like they was kind of hitting some form, got a couple of wins in Europe, started getting wins in the Premier League. But they're proper up and down, aren't they, I suppose, like any other kind of team near the bottom. Just a question on West Ham. Do you think they're safe right now?
Yeah, I think they'll stay up. I think other teams are in more of a problem than they are. Leicester, for example, Nottingham Forest, Leeds are obviously, they look all but gone. So I think a lot more teams are in trouble than West Ham. I think West Ham will just about stay up. So I think they'll be all right.
Well, one team who's already kind of safe because they're on 40 points is the team they played in Crystal Palace. That kind of solidified their mainstay in the Premier League for next season. Do you keep Roy Hodgson on? Because they brought him in, didn't they, in like the last kind of couple of months? And he's kept him up. So then what do you do? Say, nice one, Roy. Piss off in a bit. We're going to get someone else in. Or do you stay loyal to the soil?
I've heard they've said to him they're going to offer him like an upstairs role, like a... I don't know if he'd be a director of football or some. I don't know. I'm not a massive Crystal Palace fan, so I don't know what the workings going on in there. But he knows it's a temporary measure. But I think in order to sort of square it with him and make him feel like it wasn't like you're done now, fuck off, back to the retirement home with you. I think they've offered him an upstairs role. So I think they need to stick with what they were trying to do with Patrick Vieira and go for a young manager who can develop the system. We've got a lot very good young players. They've got a lot of them. And I think if you get the right manager in who can develop that, someone like Graham Potter, I think Graham Potter would be an excellent shout for Crystal Palace. Whether he wants to go there or not, I don't know. But someone around that would be perfect for them. Develop these guys like Eze, develop these guys like... Odson, Edouard, etc. I think you'd have a really good sort of chance of pushing into maybe European places like Europa Conference. But I think Roy Hodgson's a bit of a way back when guy. Sam Allardyce, that kind of that
just
kind
does the
of
job, innit?
Yeah, like he's kept him up, which is what they wanted. But I think you say thank you so much. Here's an ambassador role. Here's a nice cushy job upstairs, and we'll continue on and try and progress.
Yeah, you give him a luxury package with some bourbons in it. Some bourbons in it, sorry. Some biscuits, some tea bags. Say, Roy, pop your feet up, mate. Don't worry, there's a packet of slippers. And, you know, if we need your expertise in certain areas, we'll do that. But we're going to go down the young, hungry, kind of fresh route. And that'll be very interesting. I feel like there's going to be quite a lot of Premier League managers who are going to be chopping and changing over the course of next season. So that'll be interesting to see who they do get in. Moving on to the next game, we had Brentford versus Forest. Forest actually went 1-0 up in that game. A lot of hope from the fans. They were travelling away. Their away records absolutely horrendous. And then the story, how it's been all season, eventually comes to fruition. Brentford bring it back 2-1. Ivan Toney with his 20th goal of the season, by the way. He's absolutely killing it at the minute. Just quickly on Forest, can Forest stay up 1 point above the relegation zone? They've got 4 games left. Southampton, Chelsea, Arsenal and Palace.
It's going to be tough, man. They've got to beat all of them, haven't they? Because they're all around them. Well, Palace are probably out of it now, but like West Ham are near them. Palace were in that.
No, they play Southampton, Chelsea, Arsenal and Palace. They play.
Yeah, so they've got to beat Southampton because that's a relegation candidate.
Yeah.
They've got to beat
Chelsea because they're a
relegation candidate. So there's a lot of teams there. They basically have to win every game, and they look frail. Like they look like they can be beaten at any point. We absolutely put them to the sword. It looked like they were about to get a really vital win against Brentford, and then just absolutely capitulated at the end. And Brentford put 2 past him. Ivan Toney, inevitable. So I just think, I think they're not 100% down, but I think they're like 99% on the way down. I think they're almost there.
But they're so weird. I don't know if it was you who said this, but they can just pull a win out of nothing sometimes, can't they? Like they beat Brighton last week after we struggled against them in the League Cup, and we'll probably struggle against them in the league ourselves. But again, it always comes down to home form with them. At home, they seem to have the fans behind them and they can perform. But away from home, they have really, really struggled. On the flip side of things, could Brentford sneak into the Europa Conference League, do you think? I was looking at the rankings before how to get into it. Now, usually it's the League Cup winners who get into it, but obviously we're the League Cup winners, aren't we? And we're in the Champions League. So it goes to 7th place this year. Yeah. Brentford are 4 points behind Villa currently.
Got a game in hand, though, haven't they?
I'm not entirely sure. I'll have a look at the league now, but
I think so.
I'll have a look.
Yeah, I think they've got a game in hand. So I think they've got a good enough team to beat whoever's put in front of them. They made our lives a misery at Old Trafford.
No, level on games with Villa.
Games now. Okay.
34. Yeah.
But they made our lives a misery at the beginning of the season. So like they could beat anyone in the day. So I don't see why they wouldn't sneak in. It's an interesting little battle that you've got like Brighton, Brentford, Villa. Who else would you say? Fulham, yeah.
Spurs probably included in that now, to be honest.
Spurs would probably be Conference League, won't they? Europa League. Spurs.
Europa League, maybe. Depends on, I don't know. They've still got some tough fixtures, Spurs.
So it's an interesting little battle. It'll be new teams anyway. Like we've not seen Brentford in there, not seen Villa in there for a long time. We've not seen Brighton in there at all. So it'll be interesting Europa next season to see how well they do, how well they cope with European football on a Thursday, playing at the weekend. I think people like Brighton would be really good, but I worry for people like Brentford. I don't think they've got a deep enough squad to sort of deal with that sort of rotation and stuff like that. But it's good for them, though. It's good for them, good for their fans and stuff. It's always nice to see a team like that get into a competition like that. It's always interesting, and it makes a difference because Chelsea are not in it. Chelsea are in, like God knows where at this point.
Fresh in it, something new, not the expected ones, which is we might have that with Newcastle in the Champions League, we might have that with Villa in the Europa League, and we could have that with the Brentford or someone in the Conference League. So it's nice, it's fresh. And we've got Brandon and Ren Edits in the chat saying, yep, and hi guys, big up to yourself. Brandon is a Real Red Ultra member, which you just dropped the membership video today. So if you're not a Real Red Ultra, please do click that join button to support the channel for exclusive content, a badge next to your name, and a chance to feature on the show when we get our starting 11. There's currently 7 members, so there's 4 more spots to fill up for the starting 11. So if you want to do that, just click the join button next to the notification bell if you're watching this live or watching it later.
If someone wants to Bagsy in net as well, it would help us because I know nobody wants to play in net. So
yeah, we'll sort it.
Fancy yourself a goalkeeper like Bagsy. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, you never know. There's goalkeepers out there. I know you're out there, so let us know.
Never could find them when I played. Every time I played football, everyone had to have a turn.
It's always like, can we have fly goalie, mate? So we can just like whoever's the nearest to the net, basically.
Every time you concede, you have to take the goal, rotate the goalkeeper.
Yeah, pretty much. Moving on to teams with goalkeepers. Brighton versus well, you wouldn't have thought Wolves had won with the amount of goals they conceded. Brighton batter Wolves 6-0. 2 goals for Undav, 2 goals for Gross. Is it Gross or Grove?
Yeah, Gross.
I don't know. Yeah. Gross. And 2 goals for Danny Welbeck as well, letting off some steam from going out of the FA Cup. Brighton to push for Europa League as well. We kind of just discussed that there, so I won't ask you that. But Wolves being dragged back into the relegation scratch slightly? I know you think they've got enough, don't you, with Lopetegui?
Yeah, I think Wolves will be fine. I just think he's struggling at the minute because it's not his team. He's come in late. He came in he got selected before the World Cup, didn't he? And then didn't come in until after January, so it's obviously not his team yet. He got is it Mateus Cunha he got from Atletico? So he's got somebody in the door, but I just don't think it's his team yet. I have a feeling there'll be a couple of people leaving in the summer. The likes of João Moutinho, Ruben Neves could be interesting. I think this might be his last season at Wolves. I think he could move on. It'd be nice if United. It might be nice if United took a sniff at him, but
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I don't think there's concrete enough links for Manchester United, to be honest with you.
No, it'd be nice, but I would like Neves at the thing. So I think they'll be fine. That obviously we've suffered that ourselves as United fans. We've suffered a couple of hammerings. But I think give the Lopetegui the time at Wolves, he'll get it right. He's a good enough manager. You've seen what Emery's doing at Villa, similar ilk of a manager. I think he'd be all right. But yeah, just a bit of a gutting day to be a Wolves fan. They don't play exciting football at the minute. It's not.
It is very boring, mundane, isn't it? If it was crisp, ready, salted all day. They do say usually 40 points keeps you safe in it, and they're on 37 now. So if you can get another win, I was looking at the next 4 games, and we're included in that, by the way. They play Aston Villa, United, Everton, and Arsenal. So if they can get a draw and a win, probably in the next 4 games, it'll beat Everton. Yeah. And then hopefully they don't draw against us. They draw against the Villa or an Arsenal, which will be interesting. That's the game towards the end of the season as well. So this is why it's exciting, because you look at any fixtures, any way you want to kind of predict it or whatever. There's so many people who can go down. There's a title race, top 4s. Everything's still up for grabs at the minute. Sometimes you have seasons in it where just the top prize, City's won the league, that's already done, dusted. Top 4's done and dusted, and then you'll have a few other little bits. But this season is actually very exciting. Heading into the last 4 games for some teams. More towards the bottom, Sam. Bournemouth versus Leeds. Leeds are just getting absolutely battered, and we love it obviously because we're United fans. But they're getting battered off every team at the minute. Got beat off Bournemouth 4-1. I think the fans have put out a statement that they don't trust the board and they want rid of the manager, and things are getting a little bit unsavoury. But they are awful defensively, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all over the place. Obviously they lost a few of their best players just before Bielsa left, didn't they? They lost Rafinha and Phillips. So that doesn't help you when you've got 2 really, really good players and you lose them. They're just a mess of a club at the minute. The board took ages to hire a new manager, didn't they? After Marco Bielsa, and then they hired Jesse Marsch, who didn't look up to it. Let's be honest, just didn't look like he was able to get anything from it. He kept him up didn't he, last season? Just about kept him up, and then just lost his job to that. And then Javi Garcia, I'm just like, I understand what he's trying to do, but I just think he's fighting a losing battle. So I think they'll probably go down, but can't say I'm too sorry about it as a United fan. Leeds, I hope they go down. Be fun if they took Chelsea with him, but can't have everything.
They brought the manager in to make him more defensively sound, and they seem to have just lost the goal scoring ability in there. Because at least when Bielsa was there, they scored goals. You know what I mean? They'd have a goal and then they're wide
open though. They just conceded.
Yeah, even now, they're not even scoring goals, so they're just conceding a lot. And I do hope they go down. I'm not asked about that. Another club. This sounds really harsh because Bournemouth have never even done anything to me, but I just want them to go down because I just think they're not a huge club. I know that the manager Gary O'Neill's doing a fantastic job, or done a fantastic job with them. He's basically kept them up since when Scott Parker left. I remember him saying, this club's nowhere near good enough to stay in the Premier League or challenge or any of that kind of stuff, but they managed to stay up. But the fans, Sam, and they've got 5k attendance in certain games. It's about 250 people who watch him. I don't know how they managed to do it, but the manager's done a great job, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's kept him up. They brought in some really sort of interesting players as well who are doing bits for them. I can't remember the name of the guy they brought in, but he's been on a tear. They brought him in January.
Young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But they brought him in and he's been on an absolute tear and he's helped him to stay up. And
Solanke as well. Started
Solanke,
scoring a few goals. And
to me, like Bournemouth are just inoffensive. Bournemouth are like a Leicester. I don't have any feelings. I don't have any feelings towards them either way. The only reason I hated Leicester was because of Brendan Rodgers, but now he's gone, so it doesn't really matter to me. So yeah, they're just an inoffensive team. Like don't bother me. So if they stay up on merit, fine. I'm all right with that. Just another one for Ten Hag to absolutely smash next season. So.
Love that. We've got 4 people in the chat. Make sure you smash a like if you're new to the channel and subscribe if you're new as well. Fulham versus Manchester City, back near the top of the table. Managed to beat them 2-1 away. Erling Haaland hit 50 goals for the season, by the way. Insane. I don't know if you saw Julian Alvarez's goal as well, but that was an absolute peach, mate. Like, and it seems like they're getting closer and closer to the title. Is it done now, Sam, do you think? Because a lot of people are writing them off, but I'm not so sure, I don't know.
I think they might have a stumble somewhere. I think they might drop points somewhere, but I just think that mentality, that machine-like process they do at this point in the season, I think it's just unstoppable. And I think Arsenal have had too much of a wobble to try and claw it back now. The only way Arsenal can come back into this is if City absolutely capitulate. I just think, which isn't very likely. I'm really pissed off that we didn't get Julian Alvarez because that guy looks like an absolute baller. He is fucking unreal. And for 15 million, fuck me, could we have done with him this season with our striker?
Yeah, we've got Vegas.
Like fucking hell, like 15 million, and we could have been like Anthony Marshall. We got Julian Alvarez for 5.
Alvarez would actually start for us. That's the difference.
He would every 100% week.
Starting our team every single week, and he's young enough where he could just adapt under Eric Ten Hag. He'd be. And I remember doing a video on him. I always go on about this, but ages ago, and just discussing how he can operate in a number of roles. He can drop deep. He's kind of like a 9.5
playing as a
the
player. Left as well.
Plays 10. Play all over the show, which is one of the reasons when we got linked with Yao Felix when we wanted a loan deal. And that was another reason because he can play all over the show and he's a utility player. A very good one at that. So yeah, Julian Alvarez, fantastic. I'm just looking at the next 4 fixtures here. So 4 or 5, whatever it is, fixtures. West Ham at home. Beat City. Leeds at home. I mean, I don't need to say anything on that. Everton.
Smash them.
Chelsea. Smash them.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 games of the season they've got is Brighton away and Brentford away. So maybe
Brighton might be tricky. Brighton could be tricky.
Brentford seems to have the number a few times as well. To be fair.
I think Brighton could be a tricky game for sure. Like Brighton could definitely cause them problems. Yeah, but the other ones, they'll just smash through them like they're not even there. So,
yeah. We've got Hani Ascari in the chat saying, how much time will the Glazers take to decide their future with United? Too much, mate. Too fucking long. That's how long. And he's asking to discuss about Onana's transfer news. We'll have a breaking news show tomorrow where we'll discuss all the transfers and stuff. This is just a Premier League roundup for now, but be sure to smash a like on the video if you haven't already, please.
We did put a news post out about Sir Jim Radcliffe and the well, he is in bed with the Glazers, but Sheikh Jassim wanting complete control of the club as soon as a bid is accepted. So go check. It's either on the community tab on the YouTube or go on our Instagram. It's got the full details there. So have a look at that. Put that up about an hour and a half ago. So yeah.
Just the last bit on the City game, Sam. I don't want to spend too long on it because we are obviously United fans. But Man City, Erling Haaland hitting that 50 mark. Getting level with Andy Cole, 34 goals in the Premier League. What's his ceiling, do you think, in terms of the records he can break? Are people kind of overstepping it when they're saying like he could be like a Ronaldo in terms of his goal scoring return? Like, where's your measurement with him?
If he plays for a team like City, he's the sky's the limit, innit? And the limits the sky. So it's just like keep feeding him those sort of balls that Kevin De Bruyne does. He will score for fun. He will score. He's unbelievable. For the rest of fucking time. When you've got one of the best assists, best passers of the ball behind you, and they seem to have developed a telepathic connection already. They seem to know exactly where each other are at any point on the pitch. And when you've got that with one of the best players of the ball, you're just going to score goals for fun. Like, he misses a lot of chances as well. Like, he misses a few, but he always has to just sort of absolutely smash it into the net at some point during the game. Whether that's the 95th minute or it's in the first few minutes, he will get a goal. So, yeah, it's...
Someone just put in the chat, Henry
Vegas.
Jones saying Weghorst still clear. Yeah, Weghorst, Ireland,
yeah,
not even close, mate. Not even close. Weghorst is taller than him anyway, so that's all that matters. He's taller than him.
Yeah, but what's Haaland's pressing stats? Yeah, tell me that. What's Haaland's pressing stats?
Yeah, he doesn't run around nowhere near as much as Weghorst. He doesn't run to the other end of the pitch when we win a game like he does. Like,
he don't kiss the ball on penalties. Like,
he does just Anfield sign. Like, come off it, mate. Haaland, Weghorst, not even a comparison. Weghorst is fucking clear. Yeah. Speaking of Manchester United, that was the next game up. We've already kind of discussed this on the review, but our beloved United beat the informed Villa. Top 4 secured. I think we agreed probably is, unless we have a mega drop off. Villa in Europa we've already discussed, but was it a shock result for you? Just reflecting on it now, you've had a day or two or whatever to kind of sit on it. Was it a shock result considering the form that Aston Villa was in?
No, I think at home we've been absolute class, haven't we? I think we haven't conceded at home for a long time. I think we're unbeaten at home for, is it 26 games? I think we're unbeaten at home.
Yeah. Brighton at home in the league was the last game we won, wasn't it? At the start of the season.
Yeah. So with that, and then I think anytime we've been leading at halftime at home, we've won as well. Like, we're the top team for that. So I think at home we're a different sort of animal. We can beat most teams at home, and if we score, then we're probably going to lead. It's away from home, that's where it just all goes out the window. Like, even if we get 2 goals up front, even if we score whatever, we just seem to capitulate at some point away from home and give it all away. It's happened so many times this season and cost us a lot of points. But for me, no, I thought on the prediction I said it was a draw for 1-1. And it did look like it was going to go that way towards the end of that second half, but managed to hold on, keep a clean sheet, and get the win, get 3 points. So yeah, I think we are. I think we're solid at home, so I don't worry any team coming to Old Trafford, but away from home, we've got a Brighton away on Thursday. That worries me. That really worries me, that game.
Yeah, if we can get past that, that's when it's clear done. For me, it's already done for me, but I think a lot of the fans in general then would kind of come to the realization. Yeah, it's a security blanket, isn't it? Henry's saying there, if you could pick an all-time 11, who is it? Well,
oh my god,
the activity towards the end is we're going to do a starting 11 from the winners of this weekend and a starting 11 from the losers, and try and make it as competitive as possible. So hopefully that plays into your
an
question.
All-time 11. Take that. You're gonna have to give me a couple of hours, Henry, mate. Jesus.
We could do a full show on that. We did a Champions League one a few weeks back, doing that, and it was quite fun. So we could do a full show on that. I'm sure we'll come around to it.
Keshav, at home we're 8 hag, outside we're more 10 hag.
Love it. Love the comments today. Please do smash the like on the channel and subscribe if you're new over here. There's a couple of fresh names that I haven't seen before in the chat. So if you are new, do make sure you subscribe. Moving on to our Champions League rivals, Newcastle. Southampton went 1-0 up against them, and I remember during the watch along, I was like, "Shit, we can really get top 4 now if Southampton hold on." Obviously, I was naive enough to believe they could hold on, and Southampton conceded 3 goals. Callum Wilson added 2 to his tally. He's got the most goals in a calendar month. Yeah, something like that for Newcastle. He's really coming into form now. Him and Isaac, so. They seem like they're cementing the top 4 spot. Do you think if Newcastle get Champions League, they'll be able to start attracting these big players now?
I think they're already building a really good team before they even had this. Like, they've got Bruno Guimaraes in, who is, I think, he's an absolute phenomenal player. They've got this Isaac in, who is highly rated. Paid a lot of money for him, but he seems to be paying off by now. Yeah. They got Kieran Trippier in, very experienced fullback, great quality. Sven Botman, who I absolutely adore and think is phenomenally underrated. They got him in from Lille. Like, they've built a team which is competing for top 4 before they even had the attraction of the Champions League to their name, and they built it. Yeah. So I don't think they necessarily need Champions League to attract. But obviously it helps because players want to play in the Champions League. Obviously it helps, but they clearly can build a team from like sort of really good scouting, really good sort of looking at like what player do we need for this system, what player do we need for this team. They've worked it out, and then they've also like Keshav says there, and Joe Linton's a mad dog. Yeah, like they converted Joe Linton into a fantastic central midfielder. Like when he was as a striker, he was just not great, to be honest with you. So I think they can build a great team with or without Champions League football, but it looks like it's us and them, third or fourth, did either one. Obviously, I prefer third because then we don't have to have a qualification game to get in the Champions League. Less games, the better. So, but yeah, it looks like it's between us two for the top four. Zoe's Beauty House. Hi guys, how's it going, Zoe? Liverpool are lucky versus Spurs. Jammy bastards. We're going to touch on that. Don't you worry. Keshav, anybody think we need a better keeper? Would love to have Keylor Navas, Emi Martinez at United. De Gea wouldn't sleep them. I think Keylor Navas has a good shout. Like you said, was it you or Adam who brought him to the table?
Ages ago we did it when you did that scouting.
Yeah, so Navas would be a good shout. Emi Martinez, he's such a dickhead. I don't know if I could put up with his antics, but yeah, I think.
Maybe he'd become your shit house. You know, like Lissandro.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, he is a bit
just
of a
like
dickhead.
Haaland's about to take a fucking penalty and he's rubbing his donkey scubbing his head or something, and it's just like, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, but good shout. Yeah, definitely good shots. But yeah, De Gea it looks like he signed a new contract. So I don't think he's going anywhere soon, unfortunately. Henry Jones, winners. Alisson, Trippier, Botman, Lindelof, Casemiro, De Bruyne, Rodri, Mitoma, Haaland, Bruno. I think that's his team that he's going to pick.
For teams that have won this season. Yeah, do get your comments in. Keep getting them in. Just a very quick plug for you guys. We dropped a members video today. We drop a members video every single Monday. That is the Real Red Ultra. If you want to become part of that, support the channel, get exclusive content, a badge next to your name, and a chance to feature on the show when we get a start in 11, click the join button next to the notificational bell. Make sure you drop us a follow on socials as well if you haven't already. Yeah. Speaking of the Liverpool Spurs game, Zoe's Media House mentioned it then, so thank you very much for that. Absolute barn burner. Sorry, I forgot to mention Southampton. They're down, aren't they? Now, just very quick.
Yeah, it's done.
They're done. Liverpool Spurs, barn burner. Spurs concede 3 goals again in like 14 minutes. Absolutely awful. They managed to claw it back somehow from even more shocking defending from Liverpool, bring it back to 3-3. And then Lucas Moura just does the weirdest thing ever and basically gives a goal to Diogo Jota, and then Spurs get the 3 points. Just give me your thoughts on both the clubs right now, if you can, Sam. And I don't know if you saw the red card incident.
Yeah,
just your thoughts on them as well.
I mean, if you wanted to label a game having everything, that game had it. It
was.
You had red cards. You had Klopp pulling a hamstring and accusing the referee of bias. You had Richarlison taking his shirt off and celebrating in front of the Liverpool fans, shushing him as a former Evertonian player. And then Diego Jota scoring a goal when he technically shouldn't have been on the pitch after kicking. Who did he kick in the head?
It was Oliver Skip.
Oliver
Skip.
Twatted him in the head. And then previously, Oliver Skip with a tackle that, had that been Casemiro, it would have been a red card. But because it isn't Casemiro, it's not a red card, apparently. Yeah, so, it's a little annoying. But yeah, that was a madness of a game. When Liverpool went up 3-0, I was like, right, this is over, innit? This is going to be a Newcastle whooping. Yeah. And then they came out second half, but out of nowhere, just realised they could actually win this game and Liverpool could be cut open. And then at the end, Lucas Moura with one of the most... I don't know what he was doing. I have no idea what he was doing. I don't know who he was looking at.
He played into him, and he's not even got no.
He didn't even look. He didn't look.
No, he just like the defenders are like, bro, what you doing? You've literally just played a through balls to Jota there. And in fairness, the finish was quite calm, wasn't it? He just took it on his left and was slotted it home.
But like you said, he shouldn't have been on the pitch because that's a high foot into someone's head. The guy was bleeding as well. He had blood. So he shouldn't have been on the pitch. Should have been a red card. Obviously, he didn't mean to do it. He didn't do it on purpose. But high foot to the face, it's a red card.
What about the other one? Because there was an incident one day where it was kind of goes over the top of the ball onto his shin.
It's a leg breaker. It's a leg breaker.
Casemiro got sent off for that again, didn't he? He had one against Southampton, was it?
If that's his standing foot and he's got all his weight on that and he does that and he's that breaks his leg. Snaps his leg in half and he's out for however long. And Casemiro did something very similar. I don't think Casemiro's had as much contact as this guy as Skips. So both should have been reds for me. I don't understand what is happening with VAR and refs. Like if the ref doesn't see it, okay, I can sort of like get that. A lot of players in the way. How does VAR not see that? Both of them. Like how does VAR both not see both of those things? Like it's utter insanity. So yeah, VAR had an absolute shitty game there. But it was an entertaining game to watch for sure. Like I really, really thought absolute madness. So is Media House. Obviously, teams like Spurs and Everton as Man United's annoying little brothers. I feel for Spurs the position they're in because of Daniel Levy. Levy's a billion times worse than Woodward. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, he's not great. He's not great.
Yeah. They're both good at business side of things, but when it comes to actually what's best for the club, they're both in the same category with that. What was I going to mention then? Oh yeah, I was just going to say someone mentioned a point that if one of the assistants looked at that, so if the ref give it in normal time for the Oliver Skip thing when he got kicked in the head, the VAR would look at that and they wouldn't go against it. They wouldn't say no, that's not a red card, and that's the best way to look at it because that's not, just because the ref hasn't given him thing. Sometimes they just don't want to go against him, do they? They don't want to go against the decisions that they've made to make them look even worse, and then it's even looks more all over the place. So. The officiating is definitely questionable this season, and that is something that needs to be addressed.
In the summer, they need to like fix it up. Like I don't know what it is. Get former players involved, change the rules. Like because I don't know what the handball rules anymore. I've no idea what it is. It's any sort. It was originally it was intent to do something. Then it was in a unnatural position. But if somebody's falling, they're going to put their arms out, but then if the ball hits it, then sometimes it is a handball, sometimes it's not a handball. And then when players are jumping with their hands behind the back and it strikes the arm, they're still getting done for it. And it's like, what is he supposed to do with it? Like,
Lissandro against Sociedad had it where he bounced off his thigh, didn't he? And then hit his arm, and then they give a penalty for that. It's chopping and changing all the time just to fit
come up with a set of rules, stick to them, so everybody knows where you stand, and get former players involved because the guys running this VAR have no fucking clue. Like, no, with the amount of apologies teams have had, Brighton, for example, the amount of times a referee has been suspended or demoted because of this, like, it's just out of control now. Like, absolutely out of control.
Yeah. I was going to say, where do you see the future for Spurs and Liverpool next season? Do you think Liverpool will be back up amongst it again? And do you think Spurs will be maybe further down the table?
Spurs, it depends on the manager who comes in.
Who would you bring in? If you was a Spurs fan,
I would go all out for Nagelsmann. That's who I'd go get.
I agree.
He is the best.
Potter. I'd probably take Potter as well, you know.
I think his stock has taken a bit of a battering. And
for sure.
I don't think Daniel Levy tends to go for young up-and-coming managers anymore after Pochettino. He's gone for the big manager, and he's gone for Conte, Jose, etc. So I think Nagelsmann sort of fits that bit in between. He's a young up-and-coming manager, but he's got the experience of a Leipzig, of a Bayern Munich, etc. So he's got that pedigree. So I think he would be fantastic to bring in. But then he has to back him and buy the players he wants, not the players Daniel Levy thinks. So that Conte came in and he bought Jed Spence for him and he bought Basuma. Clearly Conte didn't want him because he never played them. So you've got to get the players that the manager wants. Liverpool, again, depends on what FSG do for Klopp in the market. They clearly need midfield reinforcements. If not one, definitely two. Bellingham is off the table, despite the fact that he's still liking Trent's tweets. But so Liverpool fans are still getting hope on that.
Oh yeah. He liked the tweet.
He was at a concert with him.
Mbappe comments all the time on Rashford's Instagram and stuff. Doesn't mean he's fucking coming. Yeah.
So they need some midfield reinforcements. So if they back Klopp, they could well be back. But Klopp has that 7-year cycle thing, doesn't he? Yeah. Much like Jose, 3 years. So who knows? I really don't know what they're going to be like next year. It depends on recruitment, depends on management. Same with us, isn't it? Same with us. Like, it depends on who we bring in, who our owners are, what happens with the training ground, the stadium, etc. All depends on that. So it's really hard to make a prediction. The only thing we can be sure of is that City will be there next season. City will be smashing
you know
it.
that.
That's the only guarantee we've got next season. So
scary thing is Erling Haaland's like, was he 22? I think something like that. Like, oh,
Sickening.
okay now. That is weird. That is weird. De Bruyne is getting older, so maybe that's a positive.
Alvarez is 19, 20.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great at all. Yeah, I think that's the roundup pretty much completed. I think they're the most recent game. Do we have any games tonight? Let's just double check. I'm sure there will be.
Leicester Everton tonight.
Leicester Everton, the relegation battle.
Relegation.
Yeah, I'll certainly be watching that. That's a massive game for both sides. That, and I do think one of them go down, if not both of them, to be honest. Which is a shame because they are big clubs. But it is what it is. This is the Prem for you. Now, as we mentioned before, when Henry put the comment in, he said we're going to do starting 11 from the winners of the weekend and a starting 11 from the losers and try and make it as competitive as possible. So the winners from this weekend, Sam, were Palace, Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, United, City, Liverpool and Newcastle. Okay. So let's try and make a starting 11 for them. And obviously we can't just pick all City players. Just try and get one from each, and then we'll kind of fill the rest of the gaps as we go along. Okay. So Crystal Palace, what player would you pluck from there?
I'd have Eze, or I'd have... who's the other guy? They've got, is it Olise?
Olise, I do like Olise as well. Yeah.
Either one of them.
I'll go Eze because he's the informed man at the minute. Let's try and get a starting 11. Make sure you join in as well, guys. Smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're doing a starting 11, the winners from the weekend, so a player from each team, and then the losers. We're on the winners at the minute, and we're going to try to do a goalkeeper to finger.
Zoe,
Brentford.
Sorry, Zoe, remind me of that question at the end. We'll do this, and then I'll answer your question at the end. Remind me.
Okay. Brentford. Remember, we've got to try to do a team here. So who would you go for from Brentford?
David Raya would be a good option, wouldn't he? Tony would be an option. Norgard would be an option.
Okay, well, we'll go David Raya because the goalkeeper is sometimes a little bit hard to thingy, innit?
Yeah.
Brighton. Mitoma.
Actually, Encino has been absolutely phenomenal.
Encino.
Let's go really
Encino. A bit of a niche option. I like that. So then we have Bournemouth. What player do you want from Bournemouth? I'd say either Billing. Billing's been quite good for him.
Been good.
I think Solanke, who was touched on then, and then Jefferson Lerma, who scored 2 on the weekend for him.
I'm going to look up that player who Bournemouth bought.
Yeah. People in the chat saying Elise, Jensen, Billing. But yeah, Billing's been good for Bournemouth. But have a look at that player and see what his name is. I can get it up on
Otada.
Is that the Colombian?
Yeah, really good. Like bought him in January. He's been fucking phenomenal since then. He's a left wing. Tavania, that's another good shout from Henry there. Tavania has been really good this season as well.
Yeah. Who do you want to go with? I'll let you have this one. You pick this one.
Let's go with Otada. I like him. I think he's good.
Otada. Okay. And he's a midfielder, right?
He's a left forward, left midfielder.
Left midfielder. Okay. Manchester United, who are you going to take from there? Who do you want in?
God.
Luke Shaw's
there. Lindelof.
Could have.
Let's go Lindelof because I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was solid. I thought he was sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Manchester City, it's got to be De Bruyne or Haaland, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Or Alvarez. Alvarez.
De Bruyne. I can't. Can we overlook De Bruyne?
Well, I'm just thinking like the informed players. So Alvarez scored a wonderful goal, didn't he? So I don't want to kind of not go for the obvious ones. Go for the informed players who have done things. So we've got the front three of Eze, Encino, and Alvarez. What a young front three that is, by the way. We've got Otara in the midfield. We've got Lindelof at the back and David Raya in goal. Any other suggestions from you guys as well? Put them in the chat. Liverpool. Who would you add from Liverpool? I know it's a Liverpool player, and I know what you're going to say, but
I don't. Can we skip this one? Oh God, you have to put. We've got the forward line, haven't we?
Yeah. So can we go midfield?
Can't put Van Dijk in. He had a terrible game.
Oh God, no! He got sent to the gulag.
He was fucking terrible.
Well, Jota scored.
Did Thiago play?
No, it was Curtis Jones. I was looking at the lineup now. So you had Fabinho, Curtis Jones, and Javier. Curtis Jones scored. So you can throw at him if you want. I
Fabinho?
can't stand him personally. but
Fabinho.
Is he in form though in that team? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Who
was in their defense? Who was in their defenders?
Kanate, who wasn't great. Van Dijk, we discussed. Robertson, give away a bit of a clanger, and then Trent had an assist, so we could have Trent in there.
Yeah, let's put Trent
there.
Let's put Trent in.
Let's put Trent. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting closer. And then we have Newcastle. Who do you want to throw in from Newcastle? Callum Wilson's the obvious one, but we've already had Alvarez. But Alvarez can play as a 10.
Yeah.
So you could do that if you want to do that.
Sven Botman.
Botman, yeah. I'll throw Botman in there. So we managed to get at least one from each team. We've got David Raya, Trent, Botman, Lindelof, Jones, Atara. We need a midfielder and a defender.
Bruno for midfield.
Bruno, yeah, I'll go with that. Or De Bruyne.
Nah, Bruno.
Okay. We are United fans, isn't it, to be fair. And then your defensive player from Palace, Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, United, City, Liverpool, and Newcastle.
Ooh.
Trippier
would be a good shout. Brighton. If they got in Brighton's defenders.
Dunk.
I won't mind Dunk. Dunk has been
Veltman.
Good this season. Dunk has been really good this season.
Yeah. I'm just going to check to see if we've got any comments. Botman, Dan Byrne's been good as well. Yeah. McAllister. Sensei.
I want to throw Dunk in there as a shout. I think Dunk could be really good.
Okay. Let's go Dunk. We'll Dunk in there. And then we've got one more. Oh, no, that's done, I think, yeah. So we've got David Raya, Trent, Botman, Lindelof, Dunk, Jones, Atara, Bruno, Encino, Alvarez, and Eze from the winning team. Let's quickly blitz through this losing team now. So West Ham.
Are we picking players who are good? Because obviously
he's trying to be in form.
They're in shit form, aren't they? The team itself. So
yeah. But Souček scored for West Ham over the weekend. Agud, the centre-back, scored.
Rice.
Antonio's in good form as well.
My shout's Rice. I think he's been their best player by an absolute mile.
Let's get a keeper in there. Navas. Forest,
yeah.
We spoke about him before.
Yeah, Navas is good.
Yeah. One player from Wolves.
Neves.
Okay. Because this is going to be competitive, right? So
yeah.
Leeds. Fuck knows. No idea.
Sinistera. He's been good.
I like Nonto.
Nonto's good, yeah.
I remember we watched the Leeds, the Premier League game at Old Trafford. He was really dangerous.
Nonto. Yeah, go with Nonto. Okay. Put him in.
I love Nonto in there. Then we have Aston Villa. I mean, a few of them.
Quite a lot. Ollie Watkins.
He was watching. Yeah, it has to be Ollie Watkins. Talk about it every day. Fulham. Who do you want in from Fulham?
Palhinha has been very good.
Palhinha. What a midfield that is, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, now. This turned out better than the first team. Palhinha, Neves, and Declan Rice as a midfield.
That's a formidable midfield, that one.
Yeah, Jesus. We need to get some defenders in here. So Spurs, I mean, not the best ones defensive, is it, to be honest? Oh. Maybe put Son for Spurs.
Yeah, put Son in. I'm not putting a defender from Spurs.
He had a good game. No, I refuse to do that. But then Southampton is who are equally as bad, if not worse, defensively.
Who's the? We can't put Lavia. We can't put Lavia in, can we?
No, no. We've got three. We need all defenders now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so you can have Walker Peters is good for Southampton.
Yeah.
I quite like him as
put him in.
Right back. Walker Peters at right back. We've got three more defenders to do. Help us out in the chat, please. Let me have a look. See if there's any. Who's got any? Watkins, Sinister, Tim Ream
for Fulham. Yeah, stick him in. He's good.
Yeah, Tim Ream. Great shout from Henry. We'll have him in there. Calter-Car. Is that Southampton? I think because we've already got Southampton coming back in there. Aston Villa. Do you want to throw a defender in there? Because they've been good defensively, haven't they? You like that Moreno, don't you?
Yeah, Alex Moreno, left back. He's good. He's very good.
Moreno, and then we have one more player. So a defender from West Ham, Forest, Wolves, Leeds, Villa, Fulham, Spurs, Southampton.
Matty Cash, but we've got a full back, haven't we?
And he's injured as well at the minute,
yeah,
Matty Cash. He's not playing. Trying to think. Ooh, who would I take? Agud scored for West Ham. Do we have any more comments?
Who's in the Fulham defensive line? Oh, we've already got two Fulham players, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got Tim Ream. That's a tough one.
Forest. Is there any good Forest defense? Who's the
Nico Williams?
Lodi. Renan Lodi.
Renan Lodi. I don't know if he's been. Let me have a look at the last game and see who started in the back line. So against Brentford, they had.
Oh, there's a shout from Henry. Danilo. He scored, didn't he, for Forest? Defender.
Is he? But he's not. He's not a defender. He's a midfielder.
Is he not? I thought he was a fullback.
No. Joe Worrell, Felipe, and Niakate. But Niakate apparently had a good game. French centre back. Aurier, Lodi. Yeah, Lodi started at wing back. Forest. Do you want him in there?
Yeah, throw Lodi in.
Let's just fucking go Lodi. So the two teams against each other: David Raya, Trent Botman, Lindelof, Dunk, Jones, Atara, Bruno, Encino, Alvarez, and Eze on the winning team. On the losing team, we've got Navas, Walker Peters, Tim Ream, Lodi, Moreno, Paulinho, Rice, Neves, Son, Watkins, and Nonto. So that is your winning team versus the losing team. A little bit of a fun activity to do whilst we was there. Finger. Thank you everyone for throwing your comments in as well. Really appreciate that. That is the Premier League roundup complete. Like we said, there is a game tonight. Leicester versus Everton, and there's more games on during midweek. But we're going to include all them in after the weekend as well. So it's going to be like a double whammy, basically. Might be a bit of a big show and loads of things to discuss. Maybe teams have already been relegated. Maybe teams are already qualified for the Champions League. Who knows? It's all going off at the minute. Just one thing to make sure you do is subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, and drop us a follow on socials. Real Reds Talk. All the graphics are at the bottom of the screen there. So if you don't follow us on social already, please do. Sam, anything else to add before we round up?
I just want to answer Zoe's question because he...
Oh, yeah.
Put, let's say your decision to sell, Sam, a budget of 200 million, who do you sign? Oh, that is a tricky question. I'd sign Sabitzer on a permanent and let go Scott McTominay. I'd get in Harry Kane, but I wouldn't pay 100 million for him. I'd go buy Frankie de Jong, and I'd go buy a centre back. Who do I get? You know what? I want someone like a Botman, but I don't think we get Botman. So I think we'd have to look elsewhere. Or we get Ten Hag's looking at a full back into in Frimpong. So yeah, I'll go with that. Frimpong. Kane, Frimpong, De Jong, and sign Sabitzer on a permanent. I think that for 200 million, I think we could do that.
200 mil. Yeah, maybe. I reckon.
Kane, 70, 80 million. De Jong, what was he, 60, 70?
Yeah, probably a little bit more, I'm guessing.
Sabitzer 15, 20.
30.
And then Frimpong about 30, I think. So, yeah. That'd be
Let us know who you guys would get. Leave it in the comments. Like I said, that is the end of the show. So take care of yourself, guys. We'll see you for the breaking news show tomorrow, which is obviously more Manchester United based. Come and join us live 7 o'clock tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.